It's Friday, which means we made it to the weekend. Yay, another week alive. What a, what a great thing. So that means it's time for a walk and talk. Welcome to Get That Treasure, where we talk about metal detecting community. If you've never seen this before, on Fridays I put out a video where I basically just kind of do like a little vlog, you know? So with that said, you should subscribe. You don't have to like it, but I would like it if you subscribe. I don't care if you ever watch another video, just subscribe. So we are rapidly approaching 2,000 subscribers, which is good. It's real good. And I'm gonna have another giveaway, so I thought I'd start that off right out the gate to let you know. I went hunting this week with Jason Gwynn, great detectorist. And speaking of that, tonight I'll be seeing him again at the Golden Triangle Explorer Society meet, Texas's oldest continually operating metal detecting club. If you're in the Dallas, Plano, Grand Prairie, Fort Worth area, drive over and see us. Have fun. I think the address is 5134 Northwest Highway. I did in the video where so there's a video about the club where I go to a club meet, and you should check it out if you haven't seen it. I think that there's a lot of people who are on the fence about joining a club. They don't know what it's like. Clubs are fun. They are like so incredibly awesome. And are there odd political things and cliques and jerks? Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's fun to be around other people who share this interest, because no matter what kind of like person you may encounter, if you get them spinning on telling their treasure tales, that's the thing, okay? You can always go anywhere, you can do anything, and you can always find something to argue with another person about. But if you try to find common ground, you will see that you can, okay? There are certain things that we all do, and if we share a common interest, you can bring people together. Are there going to be challenges? Absolutely. But can you have fun? 100%. I think, and this is true of all things, not just metal detecting or the metal detecting community, but you gotta let the ego go, okay? Now I know a lot of times when people do the exact same thing for years and years and years, they start to think that they're an expert in it. Well, sometimes they are, but a lot of times they aren't. They're just narrowly focused on repeating the exact same thing over and over again. If you have to start out a conversation with, I've been doing this for 35 years or something, and I don't know who you are, and I'm familiar with the situation, I got news for you. It's not impressive to say that. Please remember, there is a difference between time and accomplishing, okay? You can spend a whole lot of time never getting anywhere. And that's food for thought. So if you ever encounter anyone in this situation and they're like, well, I've been doing it this way for XYZ years, just remember that does not make them an authority. I think that's important to remember, because you encounter it in all aspects of life. Anyway, I know that I've kind of drifted off here, but it be like that. And that's what these walk and talks are for. And imagine that really a lot of these videos that I make, these stream of consciousness videos where I just go on and talk, oh, by the way, no list today. A lot of times they're just as important to me as they may be to you. I know that a lot of my viewers actually really like these particular videos. Actually, I get people who don't metal detect that are like, I like those walk and talks, which I think that's interesting. You know, I appreciate it. So if you tune into this channel just to see that, thank you so much. I mean it when I say it. And that brings me to my next point. I end every video with thank you so much for what, you know. But it's very important to me that the people who have helped support this channel realize how very appreciative I am. Each and every one of you, I mean it. You just don't know. I've sent out tons of sticker packs and stuff, and I was getting worried because I went for a month there where I didn't send out hardly anything. Well, it's picked back up, so that's cool. That's really cool, actually. There's something I like about sitting down and writing a letter to someone who took the time to like reach out and actually pay attention and watch. You just don't know how much it means to me. You know, like I was kind of floating through this world, as we all do a lot of times. Sorry about the sun. Let's see if I can adjust. And you know, like it was just day to day to day. You know, of course I was metal detecting because that's what I love. That's my passion. That's what this inspired this channel. But as a general rule, time was just slipping by. And when I first started making videos, you know, like I never showed my face. It would just be me like opening up a hole and you'd see what I'd find. And it was on TikTok. It's kind of really where I started. And I started to create like a little bit of a following. I got kind of tired of it. I had a really good friend though that was like, just put yourself out there, show yourself. You know, I was always afraid. I don't know what I was afraid of. I don't know if I was waiting for perfection to happen. I don't know. But I'm so glad I did because it's allowed me to like just really connect with a lot of you guys. And it means the world to me. It really does. You know, like I met Jason Gwynn through my channel. And he's a great detectorist. You're talking about someone you can go out and learn something from. Just this morning, well technically yesterday morning, I got up and I had like a really nice message from Tabitha. Thank you very much for reaching out. I put you some stickers in the mail today. It just, the idea that I'm connecting with people who I've never met, I've become like a thing, you know. It's just unreal to me. And I'm so very appreciative. And if this particular segment of this video doesn't seem to be as cogent as it should be, it's because sometimes it is hard to express the emotional reaction of how all of this is kind of crescendoed. You know, they say like in hindsight, everything's 20/20, but, and it is, but it just means the world to me. I don't know. Moving on. Metal detecting events in Texas. You guys know of any that are popping up? Because I need to go to some. And I should just go over to focusspeed.com and check them out because they always have a list. But I find that there's all kinds of hunts and stuff that happen that I never know about. Little things. If there's something you guys know about, Texas, Oklahoma, anywhere really, comment down below and let me know. You'd be surprised. I'll hop in the car and go in a heartbeat. I do know that in December I'll be in Florida, so I'll have to see if they got any hunts going on down there. I'll be in the Orlando area for an Orlando Informer event. Just found that out this morning, which is really cool. I love doing that. Mrs. Treasure is big on the Universal Studios, so we go there a lot. Love it. Hell of a time every time we go. But anyway, let me know if you know of any hunts that are coming up. Also, I think I'll be in Houston in July. I'm gonna try to make one of their club meets because I know they got a pretty big club. If you're in the Houston club, let me know. Because I would really like to go like make a video of that club. As a matter of fact, I would like to make more videos of the different clubs because they're all fairly similar, but just little differences. And I think that like by kind of capturing some of the different personalities and different things that happen at these clubs, you know, we can really kind of establish, I don't know, I don't want to say a club best practices type of thing, but other clubs can see what's cool about other clubs and then maybe adopt certain things. One thing I've noticed is that all the boards are a little different. Some clubs will have like second chance boards or what's it, the South Carolina Metal Detectorist and Relic Association, SCMDRA, they have an I Spy section on their board, which is for like non-metal detecting finds. You just spot it with your eyes. And that's kind of cool. That's the only club that has that. Cowtown has a what's it section where it's like nobody knows, but the idea is to identify it, but also like what's the coolest thing there to identify. So, you know, just little things like that. East Fork has a poet laureate, and she'll write a poem for every meeting, and that's kind of cool. It's just different and individual culture, you know, to these specific clubs, and it's just another thing that makes them so great. So I've had some trying conversations with people about what people want and what clubs do, and I would like to make it very clear to people that it's not everybody thinks the way you think. Remember that, okay? So when you're trying to force your will upon people, remember that not everybody's in it for the same reasons, you know. So that's food for thought. Now, I know that today's walk and talk isn't particularly thrilling or interesting, but I'm feeling very positive, and I hope you guys are too. And like I've said a million times before, there's tons of treasure out there, okay? All you got to do is go out there and dig some holes and you're going to find it. Now, I can't think of any other big news except for the fact that we are rapidly approaching 2,000 subscribers. And, oh, speaking of that, I had my first $100+ month on YouTube. So that's kind of cool. I need ideas. So I got my first YouTube payout, and I guess I just put it in a savings account. So I need some ideas. What should I do with that? You know, everything is a treasure project one way or another. So if you got some ideas about that, let me know in the comments. The growth is continuing. I've noticed that I've got all these separate audiences, and it's just interesting. So I can't thank all of you enough for the continued growth. I really appreciate it, and I know that part of it has to do with just being consistent. So I'm going to keep being consistent, and as long as you guys keep watching, I'm going to keep making content, and we'll just keep moving forward. I know that my favorite finds video this week was not as good as it could have been, but still kind of interesting, and it was spawned on because I found this really cool shotgun head stamp that had never been fired. It was dropped, never fired, and it's from 1901 to 1911, and I know that because the Union Metallic Cartridge Company merged with Remington in 1912. And it's little things like that that make this hobby so interesting. All these like little historical side quests of knowledge that can be acquired. So look, if you got any ideas for favorite finds history videos, or you have a favorite find you'd like to submit, or you just like stickers or any other swag I may have at the time, feel free to email me at igetthattreasure@gmail.com, and I will send it out to you free of charge, as always. If you get out this week, I really do hope you get that treasure. I will see you Monday with a hunt video. You know we're gonna find something. Always gonna be a hunt video on Monday. I hope you have a great weekend, and thank you so much for watching.